So just exactly how well do we think we are at making accurate judgments of other people? Well, according to Jason A. Nair, having accurate perceptions of other people is important. For example, let's say that you want to ask somebody out. Being able to accurately predict their response would be important, right? If you thought they'd say yes, then you'd be more inclined to ask them. If you thought they'd say no, then you probably wouldn't because you wouldn't want to feel rejected. So the results of many experiments show that people's perceptions of others are frequently inaccurate. So consider this. While walking briskly to a meeting some distance across a college campus, John comes across a man slumped in a doorway asking him for help. Will John offer it, or will he continue on his way? Before answering such a question, most people would want to know more about John. Is he someone known to be callous and unfeeling, or is he renowned for his kindness and concern? In short, what kind of person is John, and how has he behaved when his altruism has been tested in the past? Only with such information at hand, most people would agree, could one make a sensible and confident prediction. Think about the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. We all do, and sometimes we are wrong about it. A half-century of research has taught us that in this situation and many others, our perceptions are often wrong. Nair says that even scientists who are more concerned with assessing individual differences in personality would agree that our ability to predict how certain people will respond in a specific situation is very limited. Judgments of other people are often important to survival, and therefore we could not be expected to be terribly wrong about them. Another example is presented by Darley and Batson. They discovered that the appearance and other factors would also help determine if someone would help the man in need. They put this to the test. Their subjects were students in a religious seminary, and they were on their way to deliver a practice sermon. If they were in a hurry, then only 10% of the students actually helped, and if they were not running late, then 63% helped. Now, on the other hand, some argue that our perceptions are in fact accurate. Some believe that people's actions do correspond to their disposition in the real world. It is not only natural to wonder to what degree the judgments we make of personalities of ourselves and others might be right or wrong, and to desire to improve our accuracy. Knowing these things helps us to feel empowered and in control. According to David Funder, these actions do correspond to their disposition. So if their disposition were helpful, they would act as a good Samaritan, which I'm sure you all are familiar with, and they would help the man. However, our environment has an impact on our behavior as well, not only our character. So as social perceivers, we are usually too quick to assume that people's actions correspond to their dispositions. The most common error that people make, according to Nisbet, is the dispositionalist bias, also called the fundamental attribution error. This leads us to make inaccurate judgments about others in a variety of contexts. According to their argument, people are prone to believe that the behavior of others is due to their disposition or tendency, rather than a certain situation. For example, let's say someone's being rude to you. We tend to assume it's because the individual is generally rude, not just because they're having a bad day. More often than not, this leads people to draw erroneous conclusions about others, because in actuality, the behavior of people is influenced by the situation to a far greater degree than is commonly believed. People are too quick to assume that people's actions correspond with their tendencies, according to Ross and Nisbet. So the results of many experiments show that people frequently make false judgments of others, and some argue that people's actions do correspond to their character in the real world, but as social perceivers, we're usually too quick to assume. So next time, we should think a little harder before we judge a book by its cover.